G'day friends, welcome to JUNICORN Day 3. Today I'm making a washi tape unicorn, which just sends me right over the edge. I'm so excited to show you this one. You've seen me use this technique in the past where I put washi tape down. Washi tape is semi-transparent most of the time, so if you've got an outline underneath it and you can still see it, I use an X-Acto knife just to cut along the edge, and then I just peel off the excess, and essentially I'm left with kind of this mask of washi tape pattern in whatever area I want it to fill. So I'm going to cover the unicorn in that today. I'm actually going to use my own washi tapes and one Ali Brown washi tape, and today's conversation is going to be washi tapes. Why not, right? Because that's what this is all about. Today I want to talk about washi tapes, a bit about my processes when I'm designing washi tapes, a bit about why I love it so much, or I mean that's kind of a given. I feel like people just love it because of what it is, but yeah, I'm just going to talk about my washi tape adventure, which started back in 2016. Steve was playing Santa Steve and just brought me home a little Christmas present one day, earlier than Christmas, so I guess you could just say it was a treat, which was really, really sweet of him. He saw washi tape at Michael's. I don't even know why he was at Michael's, but he said he picked it up for me because he thought it would be something I liked and it was cute. And I said, yeah, I could like that. I don't think I've ever really tried this before, and I've seen it, I kind of know what it is, but I just never thought it was for me. How wrong was I, right? It started something crazy. I think Steve has regretted bringing that home ever since. I have certainly not regretted any of it. I became a bit of a washi tape addict. I've since kind of switched that over to washi tape connoisseur just to give it a bit more of a positive spin. I think addict is the wrong word because there is nothing wrong with it. It hasn't eaten into my life budget yet. When I stop paying rent and start buying washi tape, then I'll give it that addict term again. But, you know, nothing crazy yet. It's still such a passion of mine. I do love it. Just little decorative strips of everything I have ever needed in tape. I've since tried to put it everywhere. If there's an application I could use washi tape for, you could bet your bottom dollar I've kind of tried it already. Especially like, I've even tried to do like little home DIY fixes with washi tape. I was trying to secure some cords, some electrical cords that ran from a speaker behind a shelf or something, and I hated that I could see them. Now here's the thing, I actually have little clips that you can stick onto the back of things that would hold cords. Did I use that? Absolutely not. Went and grabbed some washi tape and tried to tape it to the back of the unit, mostly because I was curious to see if it would hold up. I know that washi tape is a semi-permanent stick, and you know, different washi tapes from different companies have different adhesives, but I used it and you know, it didn't really hold that well. So but all that to say, I do kind of try and use it everywhere. It's super great. I love washi tape. What I love more about it is when I started designing it myself. Now, if you remember last year, I actually started making handmade journal tapes, which was a labor-intensive process, but I really, really enjoyed it because I loved washi tape so much. I wanted to get in on the action, and I knew that I had like these ideas for what I could do if I could make washi tape. So some of the first ones I even did were, pardon me, like I had the cats, I had a whole black and white thing. I actually made the Parisienne, ended up becoming a tape. The Pixies one that I'm starting to use right here, that ended up becoming a tape. And then, you know, I formulated other ones based on what I was doing at the time, and it just kind of became a thing. I think I have 7 now. I have the first 3 that I created were the Parisienne, the Pixies, and the brushstroke. Now the brushstroke was all illustrations from the handmade Travelers inserts that I was making. So that was around that time as well, and I thought, well, I have these illustrations and I love them. Could I reformat them to make a washi tape? And I did, and I loved that. Because I wanted a black and white to go with my first release. Then I had, oh look, I finished a roll. You should celebrate those moments. Inky Quill taught me that. When I saw one of her YouTube videos, she finished a roll of washi tape, was having a big celebration because it means you loved it, right? You loved it so much that it's all gone. Now you have an excuse to buy a new one. But the brushstroke one I'd made because those were illustrations I had to use. The Pixies one I had previously formatted for those handmade journal tapes. I did have to reformat it because the handmade journal tapes I think were like 9 inches long, and I have actually 35 centimeters to work with in a repeat pattern when I create these rolls of washi tape. And that's fairly substantial. It's actually a really long and thorough, I was going to say long, thin, and narrow, but thorough works. Passageway to be able to put all your artwork on. I don't know if you've done this before, but I might set you the challenge just in case you think you got the chops for the washi tape design world. Take one of your journal pages and try and format it to fit 2 centimeters wide and 35 centimeters long. Just see how you go, because it is a task in and of itself. Not only do you have to have the artwork, obviously, that you want to put on the tapes, but one of the biggest challenges I find is actually formatting it for it to make sense, for you to be able to get the most out of it, for it to be interesting as well. I mean, the tapes that I create are actually 10 meters long, so you've got a lot of opportunity to reuse that tape. So you don't want to be kind of bored with the same, you know, repeat pattern that repeats after, like, you know, 10 centimeters. That's just, you'd be using it for the rest of your life and thinking, wow, I've used this a lot. So I try to maximize the most of that design space, but you know, the Pixies one was already done, and so was the Parisienne one. I actually had to reformat it to add a little bit more in there and to narrow it down a little bit. So even though it was already pre-formatted, I actually had to reformat it, just kind of using the same template and adding a bit more. Which was fine. And then I thought, I love this so much. They sold, and I thought, great, people are interested in this, let's keep going. Then I released the mega wide sketchbook washi tape, which I've since learned is kind of a nightmare to ship. I still do it because I really do love it. It's such a great wide washi tape, like such a wide format. You're actually putting like little pieces of artwork into your, you know, your planners or your journals. I get to fit a lot of great stuff on there with some great detail. But I also released the swatchy dolls, which was super interesting for me because I thought that one wouldn't go over well. It's essentially a rainbow of these little swatch dolls that I was creating just for fun. And I've since used them in a ton of different ways. Those are some of my most used and reused and recycled and innovated and renovated pieces of art. I swear, you wouldn't think it, but just have it. If you go through my Instagram, you'll see how many times they pop up in different ways, and it's kind of insane. But I do love them, and that tape was great because it was a white background, so you could essentially keep ripping off these swatchy dolls and putting them everywhere. So I started seeing, you know, these little illustrations pop up in tons of different people's journals in so many fun different ways. Like, people were putting little speech bubbles and saying like reminder, or, you know, even I started adding them. Once I saw that, I'm so sorry, I can't remember who did that, but I owe you all the credit, because sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes if people write me a message on the Etsy order, I will sometimes respond and write a little message, and sometimes I'll even rip off a swatchy doll and stick it down and like blow some kisses from her, or like put a little speech bubble down there. Now I can do that with the Oliver and Bianca tape. So yeah, those were the next two that I released, and then the most recent release, the you know, Feline My Oats, which is just, that was a passion project and a half. I love those cats so much. They have so much personality. I think we've all come to appreciate the fabulousness that is Bianca Sophia, Queen, and I think we're really kind of turning around for Oliver. I mean, he's really given us a run for our money. He is cute, yes. He is a nightmare, yes. But I think we're all coming around to Oliver. I know, I mean, obviously I love the cats, but I think Oliver is just a terror, and I don't know if I've ever done such a great job at presenting him in the best light. I mean, he's always cute, but I'm always showing him doing something so stupid or so bad. So either way, passion project, because you've got to do those. You have to do passion projects for yourself. You know, it's not all about making products and trying to turn a profit. You really need to make sure that you're taking care of your own desires and your own wants and needs to make sure that, you know, you have enough to give to everyone else. So that's a conversation for another day or never. But, so that was the latest one. I restock as we go because it's something that I can get restocked. It takes a few weeks for the restock to happen. And, you know, obviously oh look, there's Ali Brown's Rainbow Plot Washi Tape. I'll get to that in a second. But, you know, obviously a lot of this stuff is self-funded. You have to put in the, you know, the initial investment to get your tapes. You don't know if they're going to sell. If you're smart in business, you'll use the profits to reinvest. That's what I kind of learned back in the day doing business studies at school, which is no longer relevant because there wasn't even a social media component when I did that at school. So you could tell how relevant I feel like all of that is now. But, you know, I would reinvest that money, but it's kind of a slow process to get all of that going. And I have loved the process. I love that people are into it. I love that there are mad washi connoisseurs out there like me. And what I love most, and is the point that I was trying to get to just a second ago, is that other people have started investing in themselves the same way. These kind of, I want to say brand specific, but that sounds super clinical. I think I'm going to go with artisanal or boutique. But these artisanal washi tapes that are very, they're like artist tapes, because our friends and our peers and our favorite artists and our favorite YouTubers and Instagrammers have started getting involved and doing that process for themselves, taking them through the first steps of manufacturing. For some people, this is the first thing they've ever had, mass manufactured, and it's a big risk. It's always scary because you think like the worst could happen. I'm that kind of risk taker where I always have to assess all of the problems that might happen. But it's super rewarding. And the best part is that it's this brand new type of merchandise that we all get to be involved in. Oh, I didn't say the other one, pitter pattern. I use that in the unicorn as well. I don't know if I'll get back to speaking about that, but hopefully. Anyway, so the thing is, like, I love to see these other people investing in it, and we're all kind of on this washi tape creating journey, which is first of all, I love washi tape so much. It's the perfect merchandise for me to buy from someone. I have been known to camp out at Ali Brown's Etsy store and order 3 of the same washi tape. Not a mistake. I basically, the rainbow plot washi tape, I've said this before, is the perfect rainbow washi tape. It also reflects Ali's Instagram aesthetic perfectly. There's something about the green, yellow, blue area that I feel like I'm just looking at Ali's Instagram feed. So for me, even though it's a rainbow and it's got the bleach spots and like it's the rainbow plop, even the color choices and the way that the colors are presented, it is so Ali Brown to me, and it just makes me happy because I get to see my friend and my peer and a beautiful creative person. I get to see their work all through my journals whenever I decide to use that tape. Mindy Lacefield, another friend, that literally she had sent me an envelope and it had a bit of her washi tape on the back, and I literally peeled it off and put it in my journal. It was a little battered from the trip over, but I needed to save it because these are like, it's their aesthetic, it's their journal pages, it's some of their personal works, and it's this art, this artist's tape. I don't know, I love it because I love washi, right? So I think it's such a great new way to merchandise, something that we haven't really seen in this industry before. These self-manufacturing, I feel like, is kind of a big thing that a lot of us are trying to get into. Because it's super fun. We've suddenly realized that we don't need the sponsorship of big companies. I'll say this much, it would be nice. It would be fantastic to have a design team helping me translate some of these journal pages into long strips, but I know I'm more than capable to do it by myself, and I know I've said this before, but I'm more inclined to put my money where my mouth is and not somebody else's, so I think it does show that we have a great passion for this stuff. We really do love what we do, and we love it so much that we're willing to invest our own money and our time and our efforts and our risk into bringing you something that hopefully you might enjoy as people that like to consume the content that we create. So, super interesting topic of conversation that we could probably go a little bit deeper into another time, but I'll just get back to the other tapes that I created. So we did Feline My Oats. I love the cats. The cats on that literally crack me up. There are cats everywhere now, like all through my planner. They're everywhere. I've given tapes away before. It's the first tape I'm likely to give away. Like if someone's over at my house, I get very Japanese all of a sudden and feel the need to give a present. So I have given that tape away, and I think it's a great kind of a thing to give away from my home because it's kind of the thing you remember when you visit are the cats. So super fun to have that tape as well. And the pitter pattern, which, funny story, is something that I had planned back instead of the brushstroke washi tape. That was the first black and white I was going to do, and I thought, I want to do patterns. I want to do black and white patterns because I know it is marketable. And typically that is the wrong reason to do something that you have a passion for. You shouldn't really be focused on that because, if it's a passion project and then suddenly you're thinking about marketability, you're likely to make decisions that aren't really in keeping with what you wanted to do in the first place. So instead of making a big old pattern washi tape, I thought I'm just going to stick with this brushstroke idea because I think that's more interesting. And I can always do this again later when I have a bit more of a, washi financial payroll going on. So this is something that I had tested a few times, and I just thought, I'd also tested a rainbow washi tape, and Ali and I had a conversation about it, and I had told her, I was like, because, you know, we were discussing her getting into tapes as well, and I said, like, you should definitely go for it because I am struggling so hard. I have no, or maybe she had done it. Either way, I told her, I was like, I am so thankful for you doing that because you have conceptualized what I literally could not do, and I tried it so many times. And again, my reason for trying it was because I thought it would be commercially viable, and maybe is the reason why I didn't really succeed at that, and instead decided to go with the swatchy dolls, which was a rainbow version of of an illustration, which ended up being a much better alternative for me to go with anyway. And then Ali created the perfect rainbow washi tape. I ended up buying that. I didn't have to worry about that anymore. You know, I finally got what I wanted, my perfect rainbow washi. I just, that piece of creativity, that journey was not for me. That was sent down from the heavens, anointed into Ali's creative hands, and now I get to experience the joy of that. So a lot of these things that I'm thinking about when I'm creating tapes, I do get stuck sometimes thinking about the commercial viability of it, and that's when I start to have a bit of a problem. So the pitter pattern one I did leave for a long time until I thought, you know what, let me try it now. I have a better idea for it now. It's going to be that pull apart tape that you can get a ton of different tapes from if you you know, if you were looking for like the ultimate black and white tape, and that's when it kind of came together for me. And as well, I didn't have to hand draw it. I actually did it all on the iPad with Procreate. So to be honest, a project that I'd been working on or had in the back of my mind for months and months really took about 20 minutes to create once the idea was ready for me to take and tackle. Anyway, I hope you had a great time watching the piece come together. I hope you enjoyed the washi conversation. If you're not a washi lover, that must have been painful for you, so I'm super sorry. I'll see you in the next JUNICORN video, and until then, have a great day. Bye.